The Ohio State Buckeyes quietly reloaded. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron,
I'm Paul.
and we are the Big Ten guys on the daily, pushing out Big Ten content, rumors, insights, analysis, whatever it might be. Big Ten, you can see it right here. Paul, tell them what to do.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, get those alerts on. It's not that hard, and it does us a huge solid.
Does us a huge salad, and our wives won't yell at us. So, big news coming out of Columbus. Paul, they got a lot of great transfers. And I think a lot of people, especially in this day and age, have to understand if you want to be successful, you got to bring in transfers. And Ohio State, obviously coming off a national championship, bringing in Will Howard out of Little Manhattan, Kansas State, winning them a natty, huge. They understand it. Paul, tell us one of the big, and off the bat, our question is simple. Of all the transfers that have came in this year for the Buckeyes, who are you most excited to see play, or you have maybe the biggest expectations for? So, Paul, let's take it away with the first one.
So I think one of the biggest additions they had is Ethan Onianwa out of Little Rice University in Texas. Now, Rice, I get it. It's a small school. Sometimes you got to be a little nervous. Can you go from Rice to the Big Ten and be the same caliber of player? I'm here to tell you, 6'6", 345 is 6'6", 345. The dude is a mountain of a man. He's strong. I think he was kind of a high-end 4-star in the transfer portal. He is ready to be a huge contributor at one of the most important positions there are on offense. They're going to be slotting him in there at left tackle, protecting Julian Sayan's blind side. If there's one thing you don't want to happen to your brand new quarterback, it's for him to be worried about his blind side. So Onianwa is going to be huge.
Going to be huge, especially going up against teams like Texas and other Big Ten opponents with a quarterback who is... He's fresh, as fresh as they can be. Having someone like Onianwa right there at left tackle is huge, especially coming in also, obviously, big shoes to fill in Donovan Jackson as well as Josh Simmons. Now, we understand Josh Simmons only played half the season before he got hurt, but still, it is smart that Ohio State turned around. Hey, we need a great left tackle. Let's go out in the transfer portal, get one, boom, Onianwa. If you're 345 pounds, you are a mountain of a man. It is going to get hard to get past, and we know as well Ohio State has a tried tradition of great offensive line play, and so...
Yeah, and look, when you have Jeremiah Smith, it's not like you need Orlando Pace at left tackle. Another Ohio State great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you block a guy for 2 seconds, and Smith is going to be streaking down the sidelines. I think Onion was more than capable of doing that. He's going to get the job done.
For sure. And also on that right side, including center, a lot of returning starters. So really it's the left side you're looking at in Onianwa, that left tackle, and then Luke Montgomery, I believe, at left guard. So again, I think a lot of people think, they lost a ton on that offensive line, but in all reality, reloaded, ready for the next season, ready to prove people wrong to defend that national championship. Now, I do want to say this about Rice. Just because Paul is a Michigan fan. You might not know that. Now you do. I'm a Michigan State fan. Again, we talk Big Ten sports because we love the Big Ten. Paul, what failed running back? You knew it. You knew I was going. You knew I was going this way.
Sam McGuffey.
Sam McGuffey.
I was so hyped for him. He was like, there was that video of him leaping over people. He
doing
came to
Michigan.
Flip.
Oh yeah.
Did nothing. Went to Rice. Now I think he's a bobsledder. Look at it. It's actually an amazing story. I don't know if he went to the Olympics or almost went. He's a bobsledder now, but failed Michigan Rice.
Failed Michigan.
But
I
went to Rice.
Had to do that. Listen, Ohio State, Buckeye fans, us Spartan fans, we're the same. We despise this team over here. I had to get that jab in. Honestly, as we were doing the video and I saw Rice and I thought about it again, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was waiting for you to.
I literally wrote it on my paper right here as we started. So, anyways, big time recruit. Going to be awesome at left tackle. Also coming in the transfer portal, C.J. Donaldson coming out of West Virginia, running back, 734 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns on the ground, and most likely going to be that second string to James People, obviously the huge Ohio State running back recruit. But obviously we look at what the Buckeyes did last year in Judkins and Henderson, not specifically talking about what Judkins has done recently. But anyways, two big-time running backs that got drafted early second round, going to have great contracts. And so they understand, and in football in general, is really moving to, hey, two running backs that truly either of them could start. I'm not saying CJ Donaldson is going to come in and be a starter, but he has proven himself in the Big 12 playing at West Virginia. And obviously Ohio State sees the value in him, the value added in bringing him to be a second punch next to James People.
Well, and it reminds me a lot of, I think when Travion Henderson was there, a lot of people were like, that's our number one guy. We don't really need anyone. But they went and got Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss to be that number. I mean, they were 1A and 1B.
For sure.
One of them needed a breather, and the other one was right in there, every bit as good. Thunder and lightning.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they're trying to recreate the same thing, and it seems like they got two more good guys.
Great running backs. And what's crazy, too, is when they got Judkins from Ole Miss, it blew my mind he left Ole Miss because it's like, yeah, they have Travion Henderson. What's he doing? And then the way that Chip Kelly and that offense were able to use both of them, again, enough where it's like, hey, lead us on to a national championship, one. But two, as I said earlier, being huge, very high draft picks in the second round, like they made it work. Listen, Michigan State, we are praying just for one running back right now. And the Spartans back in the day used to have good running backs, and every once in a while would have a 1-2 punch. But again, getting a guy like CJ Donaldson and then James People, if he can really live up to his hype, they got it back. So that's the offensive side of the ball. Now, more specifically, we look at the defensive side of the ball and Bo Atkins. Atkinson, there we go. Can you tell us about him, Paul?
So came over from the University of North Carolina. Big things happening there, but he's like, I don't want to be coached by Bill Belichick's girlfriend. I'm going to head to Columbus.
Coach Jordan.
I'm going to head to Columbus and see how things go there. I know Ohio State lost a lot with their pass rush with Sawyer leaving and Tuimoloau. I struggle so much.
Tuimoloau. I believe that's how you say it.
Owl.
I have, listen, the amount of times I've butchered that name, too many to count.
Yeah, look, you guys know, who he was great. They're going to need to replace that. Ohio State, the beauty of your program, as much as I always hate to see it, is there's always a next man up, a guy who is a 5-star or a high-end 4-star ready to fill in. But I think Bo Atkinson, too, is going to be a huge piece coming off the edge. Got 7.5 sacks, as I said, last year, and probably didn't have, a lot of times when you're the premier edge rusher on a team, you're getting the toughest assignments and the double teams. They'll probably have the opportunity at Ohio State to do even better.
And have the potential to be one of those big-time edge rushers that the Ohio State University develops and puts out into the NFL. So, again, blows my mind that he wants to leave Bill Belichick, but I understand for a team who just won the national championship. And let's be real, who brags about playing at UNC football there? A lot more people brag about playing at Ohio State, let's be real. One other thing I want to bring up when it comes to the transfer portal is you see a lot of teams that, again, we talk about Judkins who left Ole Miss last year. Ole Miss, I'm not telling you they're some blue blood program, but Lane Kiffin has done a lot there. They're a good football team in a tough SEC, even though I would tell you the SEC was down last year. But one thing that Ohio State has done well when it comes to the transfer portal, one is bringing in top-tier talent. But the other side of that, a lot of people don't talk about, they're not losing top-tier talent. And so you look at these guys that they've lost, and again, nothing to necessarily write home about. I would tell you as a Detroit Lions fan, living in Michigan, and the fact that, they're on the up. Let's be real. They're on the up. But J-Mo, a lot of people would say, well, what about Jamison Williams leaving Ohio State going to Alabama? But also, let's take a step back and look at, they literally had one of the best, probably the best wide receiver core in college football history.
You could definitely argue that.
And so the man wanted to go play, and he looked at all these other guys and realized, I ain't playing, and I'm not playing like I want. So obviously he goes to Alabama and ends up being a first-round draft pick to the Lions, and hopefully he stops gambling and all that stuff and just plays football. But that's beside the point. It's beside the point is Ohio State doesn't lose talent. They bring talent in. They win big games. They prove people wrong, and they're going to continue to do that. So once again, circling back to our question of the transfers, and there's probably a transfer. Obviously,
we didn't even mention Max Clare. He's like the only good player Purdue had. You guys stole him. Like, there's a lot of good transfers.
Disrespectful, guys. It's because of that year. You guys did that because of the year. I couldn't tell you, but when they went into Purdue. And Purdue absolutely murdered them.
I forgot about that.
You remember that? Because they had I can't remember the guy's name, and I say this with all due respect, but he was dying of cancer, and he was at the game, and they kept showing him. And then Purdue absolutely trounced. Ohio State had no reason losing that game, and they got trounced. I'm sorry, this is probably very upsetting to a lot of people, me bringing this back up.
But you got your revenge. They had one good player, and you took him. But so let's hear from you guys. Is he the best guy you got? Is Atkinson or Donaldson, one of these other guys we mentioned? I think Onian personally is going to be the most important. I don't know if he'll be the best, but I think he's going to be the one that matters the most. But let's hear from you.
Yep.
Drop us a comment.
Drop us a comment, and don't forget, on your way out, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already as well. Hit the like button as well. Big Ten content on the daily. We appreciate you. Peace.
See ya.